movie delays. Let's talk about some of the more pronounced delays that we've got going on with all the craziness that's happening right now. I feel like this is like less and less like important because like every other day it's constantly um, changing. But I thought it would be a good idea to essentially talk about some of the bigger delays and where we sort of stand with some of these movies at this exact moment in time. So since the beginning of this whole coronavirus thing, or maybe not even at the beginning, maybe an unhealthy amount of time after we knew this was like a going to be a thing, theaters started to shut down, and big releases that we're going to release kind of saw the writing on the wall. They're like, oh, let's just hold this off until we know exactly what the fuck's going on. So we've got all these delays, and now it's all starting to sort of crystallize because now they're getting towards the point where they're like, I don't give a shit if people get sick. Just fucking open the goddamn theaters now. Just sell the popcorn. I don't care. Just put them in the seats, right? Is pretty much the stage we're at now when it comes to the theaters. And so let's roll through some of the list of some of the big name movies that have moved. So some of these are relevant to this year. Some of them aren't relevant. Like this first one here that we're going to start with, The Flash. It moved from July 1st of 2022 to June 3rd of 2022, which is very interesting because weirdly enough, it actually moved up in time, which is highly unusual in the current circumstance of things. But yeah, are you looking forward to the Flash movie? Are you a big
No, not at all.
comic book fan? I actually don't know that about you. Weirdly enough.
No, no, really not. I mean, loved Daredevil growing up and all the comics until a certain big time actor in the early 2000s had to take that movie and completely destroy all hope for my
Are
love of
you're not talking about the Benster, are you?
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
The
yeah.
the Fleck? I don't, what is his nickname? I don't. What is his nickname? He has a nickname, right? The
Oh, the unspoken something.
yeah, we
I don't know.
we tried to find that and did not find it. That
Yeah,
did
it just
not work
wasn't
out.
happening. That's how little I care about Ben
Oh,
Affleck.
Batfleck. I believe that is
Batfleck. There we
there
go.
you go.
I
Yeah,
like it.
we
No,
found it eventually. Yeah.
I will say I was a big fan of the Arrow on CW, and then they introduced the Flash and everything, and
Mhm.
moved on to that show. I watched like half the first season, and it was okay, but I don't know. The Flash just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Uh,
I'd like to me. I mean, you can maybe tell me a little bit better. I don't know if you're really big into comics, but the Flash just didn't seem like something that would really kick off here.
Yeah, I would say that I'm not really a big fan of the Flash either, but I also think that that's because I'm not necessarily a big fan of the actual like comics, not because I
Yeah.
don't like them, but just because I just never really got into them. But shout out to my friends JP and Kareem. They're both super into it, and they both love the Flash, so there must be something to it.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know if I'm necessarily looking forward to this movie. Ezra Miller with it. Who knows if he's actually going to be the actual star in the movie anymore, given all the
Yeah, who knows?
craziness that he's sort of gotten himself into. Who knows how that's going to go, but it's interesting that they're thinking about having Michael Keaton. We talked about that last week. Having Michael Keaton, reprise his role as Batman in
I
this
would watch it
particular film.
for Michael Keaton.
Yeah, who wouldn't, right?
Like, yeah, like why wouldn't you?
Yeah, but let's talk about some of these other delays. We've got Halloween Ends, which moved its date from October 15th, 2021 to Friday, October 14th, 2022, which is I'm actually weirdly enough looking forward to that. I think I enjoyed the last iteration of Halloween that we got, and I'm looking forward to this new one that's about to
Same.
come out. Then Star Wars, which dude, there's so much shit going on with Star Wars. I didn't even fucking know specifically that they were coming out with like a new trio of movies. I don't know how the
I
fuck that
am
slipped
the
past my radar,
wrong
but
person to talk to about Star Wars. I am the one person in the film industry, if you will, that has never watched Star Wars. And
well,
I
you
still
you
like
you
I don't think I
literally
ever will.
can't say that. You've now pissed off 95% of the people who would either watch this or be interested in watching this, and now they all hate you
You know,
sufficiently.
hold on a second. There's a live look at the Fate podcast. It went from 4.5 stars on iTunes to 2.5. So
Well, thank
you're
you. Yeah,
welcome.
yeah. All this goodwill Orain and I have built up, you've now dissipated in very short fashion. But yeah, I didn't even know that they were coming out with a new trilogy, or at least I knew they were working on projects, but I didn't know specifically that they were coming out with a new trilogy. Anyways, this got delayed to around Christmas every year, beginning on December 22nd, 2023 is when we'll get our new Star Wars look. This is a movie that we just talked about earlier, The New Mutants, which is due out on August 28th. Of this year, and it was originally due out April 3rd of this year, but of course pushed back because of the theater shutting down. This one I think will stay firm. I don't think that's going to move. And so shout out to John Campia. This is not my take. This is his take. He had a take that I thought was a pretty decent one, which was that the reason why he thinks this date is going to stick is because um, because they've just had so many delays with this movie. At this point, they're just like, fuck it, just put it out, and we'll release it in whatever theaters are actually open at that time. So who gives a shit if AMC's open? Who gives a shit if Regal's open? Just whatever is available at that time, release it and be done with it, and we can fucking move on from this thing. And maybe there I missed a couple things
So
that he
even
said, but
he is that sick of Star Wars.
well, this is New Mutants. So this
Oh,
is
okay, I
the,
got you. I
the
got
X
you.
Men. Although it's easily confused because Disney literally owns it all. So what's the
Right.
difference, really? You know. um, next from that we have No Time to Die, which is of course the James Bond movie,
Mm-hmm.
which is really supposed to come out April 10th of this year and got pushed back to November 25th of this year, and then for some strange reason got moved up to November 20th of this year. So let's move it up 5 days because why not? Um,
Oh, it's that's Idris Elba's birthday, so they're trying to kind of like signal
yeah,
that he's going to be the next James Bond.
we're clearly going to have a larger conversation as to why you know that by heart. But for now,
Oh, I was totally
we'll move on.
bullshitting.
Oh, I was like, what the fuck? Like, the cops are gonna come, start searching your home. Be like,
Yeah,
what
literally.
do you know? Why do you know it? They're gonna take you downtown.
I mean, he
You know,
is a
you don't.
treasure, so we can't fuck around.
We can't have stalkers of Idris Elba. Come on now. So then we have another interesting one, Mulan, which it kind of followed Tenet in that it moved. It sort of had an indefinite release date after it was moved back from March 27th of this year to July of this year to then August 21st, and then finally once Tenet sort of was like, yeah, we don't know when the fuck's Tenet's going to happen. Then Mulan was like, oh, yeah, we don't know when that's going to happen either. But in speaking about Tenet, that got delayed again from July of this year, from mid July to late July to August 12th. And then finally, they just were like, yeah, we're just going to do this indefinitely. But we just got some news this more recently, I think in the last couple of days, that they actually have settled on a release date. But strange plot twist, the movie is actually going to be premiering um, not in the U.S., but in other countries that seem to be handling their shit better than us. So
So
let
the
me
rest of
read
the
you
world.
basically. Starting to August 26th, the movie will screen in more than 70 countries, including South Korea, Australia, Canada, and much of Europe, but not the U.S. Instead, Tenet will arrive in select American theaters 2 weeks later in time for Labor Day. And given the country's ever-growing coronavirus caseload, that select list is likely to be very, very short, according to this the Atlantic article. So yeah, that's kind of the very long-winded summary of where we sort of stand with a lot of the theatrical releases. We still have we still didn't talk about some of the other ones like Wonder Woman or Fast and Furious. Those all those movies. But for
Avatar
argument's
2
sake,
that we've been waiting for.
Yeah, dude, it's
or
going to
12
be
years.
2035 before we get Avatar 2, in which day, at which time whatever technology you're using is
Yeah,
going to
it'll
be
be outdated.
so fucking stale that James Cameron, look, they're going to try to somehow assassinate James Cameron. I'm saying it here. Here's an exclusive for the Fade podcast. They, um, the studio is going to try to concoct this sort of like plan like of, oh yeah, like 20 years after coronavirus they're going to be like, I don't know, somehow he contracted coronavirus and he just magically died from it, even though he definitely had the vaccine and he definitely tested negative and
It's Plandemic, directed by by him. Plandemic
yeah.
2.
And so yeah, because whatever the whole situation with the original Avatar was that they were doing essentially like they weren't the first to do 3D, but they were the first to like really take advantage of 3D,
Yeah.
and do it on a sort of a mass scale. And so I think that's what cooked up so much interest in that first Avatar movie. We've talked about it again on this podcast many times. I don't know who the fuck's checking for another Avatar movie. I don't think that there's really, and maybe I'm wrong. I can obviously eat a pile of shit if if that turns out not to be the case. But I don't think really anybody's checking for an Avatar 2 movie. So much as like maybe instead of like literally they just act out the movie in front of you every single time. It's basically just a play, but they I don't know, fucking dump water on people or some shit. Like outside of making it that realistic, there's nothing else about this movie. Like nobody wants to see 3D shit anymore. That's played out. And then also the returns on this movie aren't going to be as much, but they've already invested like $1 billion in
Right.
because they've essentially have funded, like he shot all of these movies back to back. I think up to what, four of them. I
Hmm.
think so that means we're getting three more sequels, and so they're going to have to be released.
God.
This isn't going to be a project that like they're going to be like, oh yeah, like we're just not going to do that anymore. No, it's like they're all in. They push all their chips in the middle of the table for Avatar
It
and all of its
they
sequels. So
they 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 fucked themselves when they agreed to those 3 and 4 movies, because where do you go with Avatar from here? Like the first one, like you said, the 3D took it to the next level, but then also, the political and socioeconomic side of what that movie represented. Like, one, we have better technology now, and what the movie represented is what we're already living in daily life right now anyway. So it's
yeah,
like, where are you going to go with that movie franchise? Like, there's nothing really that's going to be that appealing to drive out the masses like it did with the first one.
yeah.
Yeah, they shot themselves in the foot on that one.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that they were thinking about the moment they were in because I think this was like a project that was supposed to be done back in like 2014. I think is when basically they, all this
Yeah, and
is
then
really
James
sort of
Cameron found a computer and realized he wanted better.
yeah, you know, yeah, I just don't. Yeah. Anyways, that could be an entirely other conversation of its own. But
It'd be a
anyways,
2 hour
uh,
show.
yeah, this whole thing about delays, we haven't clearly haven't heard the last of it. But I think that even the theaters are starting to come to the realization that they have to do something. That they can't just sit on it forever. That they're going to have to make some concessions, right? So they're going to have to think of a way to work with video on demand in order to get some of these movies out because people just aren't going to, especially with this, and I read something recently that's like that said it's not a second wave, it's just a really big initial wave for
No, we're
the
still in the first wave. Like,
coronavirus. So yeah,
I think Florida is like still in the beginning of the first wave. I don't think they've even entered the first wave yet. They're
yeah.
just permanently at the beginning stages of it.
Yeah, no, I'd be all for just sawing Florida off of the U.S. and just watching it kind of float away, to sea. That would be, I think, an
Imagine that.
appropriate.
They try to keep Cubans out, and now they're gonna float to Cuba.
And Cuba's gonna send them back like, we don't want you guys
Yeah,
either.
right. Fuck
It's
that.
yeah, we don't want your troubles. But anyways, I'm personally looking forward to seeing some of these movies. Like I clearly like
Yeah,
Tenet. Like I'm a diehard Nolan fan. He's my
Nolan.
favorite
Yeah.
director. And so I can't wait till these movies come out. Now, what form they'll come out in, that's I think still up in the air. But we'll wait and see how it all sort of plays out.